This week, I looked up love in the dictionary and found 18 definitions. I read them all and did not feel one bit more loving. I don't know why. That should have been it for me right there. As adults, we've discovered that love is indescribable as well as indispensable. It's more important than eloquent communication, spiritual gifts, or personal sacrifice. If we have all the attractive rudiments of religion, but we don't have love, we don't have anything at all. The Apostle Paul begins to describe in our epistle reading that Doug did so well what love looks like. Verses 4 through 7 contain 11 short phrases that, like a prism held up to the light, shows the full spectrum of love. Now, I know that generally it's a 3-part sermon, but this is an 11-part sermon. God bless you. God bless you. First, love is patient. King James Version says, love suffereth long. It is never tired of waiting. The Greek word literally means long-minded. Love is slow to give in to resentment, despair, or anger. It describes the person who has been wronged, who has it within his power to get even, but chooses not to do so. During the early days of the Civil War, Edward Stanton was outspoken in his criticism of Abraham Lincoln. He held Lincoln in utter contempt. He called him a guerrilla and a cynical clown. Although he knew about the slanders, Lincoln never retaliated. And when the time had come to choose somebody to oversee the war effort, Lincoln chose Stanton. When asked why, he simply said, because he's the best man for the job. After the president was assassinated in 1865, Stanton stood weeping over Lincoln's body and declared, there lies the greatest ruler of men the world has ever seen. You see, patient love won in the end. Second, love is kind. The word means something like sweet usefulness. I love that phrase, sweet usefulness. Love is quick to help others and eager to reach out to those in need. Perhaps you've seen this famous quote before. I shall pass through this world but once, and any good thing, therefore, that I can do or any kindness that I can show to any human beings, let me do it now. Let me not defer it, nor neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. Mark Twain called kindness a language the deaf can hear and the blind can see. It's a universal language, for it does not speak to the intellect, but it speaks directly to the heart. Third, love does not envy. This is the sin of those who think others have too much and they have too little. By contrast, love is generous. It does not begrudge others their gifts. How do you respond to the good fortune of others? If they do better than you, if they prosper and you don't, if their family seems to be happy and yours is falling apart, how do you react? Can you lose gracefully, so to speak? If you live long enough, you'll probably find someone who is better at what you do than you are. I remember being this great little trumpet player star in high school band, and when I got to college, I looked around me and just anyone there was 10 times better than me. Now that is a rude awakening, for it was for me. I'm crying, I'm sorry. But sooner or later, you will find people, you'll encounter those that are less talented and less gifted than you are in every way. Yet they seem to catch all the breaks and have everything that you wanted. So how do you deal with that? How do you respond to inferior persons passing you by? Well, it's a formidable test of love. Fourth, love does not boast. It does not brag. It is not pompous or conceited. It has no exalted opinion of itself. It is not eager to gain the applause of others. Sometimes we would be better off saying nothing at all. Like this guy. Once upon a time, there was a turtle that wanted to go to Florida, but it was too far to walk. So he comes up with this great idea. He gets 2 geese, he gets in the middle of them, and the geese are holding this rope. So he takes his vice-like jaw and he clamps onto the rope in the middle, and they fly off. And it's wonderful. It's working. He's just like elated. And then somebody on the ground goes, who would have thought of that? And he opened his mouth to say, I did. Sometimes it's a good idea to keep your mouth shut. 5, love is not proud. The King James Version says, love is not puffed up. That means love does not have an inflated opinion of itself. It is not filled with hot air. As I think about the truly great people that I've known in my life, they have all on one level or another seemed very ordinary. They dressed and acted like real people. When someone has to dress or act to talk like they're somebody special, it's because they're trying to convince themselves, I think. But those who are truly great, what you see is what you get. 6, love is not rude. King James says that love does not behave itself unseemly. Well, that covers a lot of territory. On one level, it means that love is not ill-mannered. It does nothing of which it will be ashamed later. Love is true courtesy. It is polite, considerate, and careful for the needs of others. Love is quick to make others feel at ease. Love has good manners. Our writer sums it up by saying this, that courtesy is love in the little things. And that seems to say it all. 7, love is not self-seeking. It makes no thought for itself, does not demand its own way, and is not stubborn. Love never says my way or the highway. Love says, let's do it Jesus' way. Love serves and doesn't worry about who gets the credit. 8, love is not easily angered. And this is the quality that I always have to stop and think about, because it's easy to get angry. Love is not easily provoked. It's not quick-tempered. It doesn't blow up. It's not irritable. By contrast, love is good-natured, easygoing, and quick to forgive. I think most of us tend to deal with the problem of being quick-tempered. We excuse it by saying sometimes, well, that's just the way I am. Well, that may be the way you are, but it's not the way it should be. I know some people excuse their bad temper by saying, sure, I lose my temper a lot, but it's all over in a few minutes. Well, so is a nuclear bomb. A great deal of damage can be done in a short period of time. Even small temper bombs can leave a lot of hurt. 9, love keeps no record of wrongdoings. The King James Version says that love thinketh no evil. Well, I'd be struck down, I'm afraid, when I'm driving on the highways. Somebody cuts me off and I'm thinking evil. But anyway, love does not brood over injuries suffered. It's not suspicious of others. It's not cynical about good deeds. And it's quick to remember a personal, it is not quick to remember a personal offense done by others. Warren Wiersbe, whom I have his commentary Bible at home, once said he knew a man who actually kept a list of all the things people had done to him. And he also said that was the most miserable man he'd ever met in his life. People like that never get over what happened in their past, so they let that dictate their future. But true love has a bad memory of wrongs done to it. Love is quick to hit the delete key. Number 10, see the end in sight. Love does not delight in evil. It takes no pleasure in wrongdoing. It's not glad about injustice, and it's not happy when evil triumphs. It takes no joy in hearing evil openly discussed. Love is never glad to hear bad news about another person. Well, they finally got what they deserve. How many times have we said that? Enough. Love is never happy to hear that a brother or sister fell into sin. It does not enjoy passing along bad news. This certainly goes against the grain of modern life. We all know that bad news sells in the news cycle. True love isn't like that. It turns away from cheap gossip and unsubstantiated rumors. And finally, 11, love rejoices in the truth. This seems to be the flip side of number 10. Love takes joy in what is good and true and right and holy and pure. Love cheers whenever the truth wins out. The kind of love the Bible talks about is in short supply. And even in the church, we tend to pass right over the passage because we've heard it a bunch of times. And I was thinking about that while Doug was reading. How many weddings have you heard this at? You know, funerals. It is a very famous chapter. How can we live this way, though? How can we truly love without envy, without quick temper, without seeking our own interest, and without thinking evil of others? The answer is, we can't. In ourselves, we have no power to live this way. That's why it doesn't work to say, well, let's give it the old college try and really go out there and love everybody. Well, that sounds good, and enthusiasm is one thing, but we will never talk ourselves into loving like this, and the sooner we admit the fact, the better off we'll be. This isn't some kind of rah-rah competition where we try to prove our love by our enthusiasm. I also think it helps to replace love with the word Jesus in the passage. Jesus is patient. Jesus is kind. Jesus does not envy. Jesus thinks no evil. Jesus is not quick-tempered. Jesus does not rejoice in what is evil. If we want to love, we need more Jesus in our lives. Run to the cross, stand there, and behold the one who died for you, and soak in all the love. Now, we've come to the end. 11's done, and I have this to say. It's not my own thought. It's from a man named E.E. Cummings. You may know some of his work. It goes, I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go with me. Whatever is done by me is your doing. I fear no fate, for you are my fate. Want no world, for beauty, you are my world. And it's you, or whatever a moon has always bent, and whatever a sun will always sing, is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of the sky, of a tree called life, which grows higher than the soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that keeps the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart. May God love us, bless us, help us to live and love this coming week and all the days of our lives. Amen. Amen. Remember the words of our Lord Jesus, how he said it is more blessed to give than to receive.